4 years ago, Mike Pence, the Republican, was supposed to easily win the governor's race. He was facing the former Democratic House Speaker John Gregg, and the early polls that Howey Politics did and others, saw Pence in a pretty comfortable position, but he almost lost. He only won by a little under 3% of the vote. Pence was almost brought down to defeat when Richard Murdoch made his comments on rape in the U.S. Senate race, and Pence at first asked Murdoch to apologize and then defended him. And we saw female voters really flee from the Pence campaign. In the first Howey Politics poll last September in the general election race, Pence had a 13% lead among female voters, and by the time the dust settled on election day, he lost the female vote by 5%. That was an 18% drop in female support. Now we have Governor Pence, who has some policy victories. The HIP 2.0 expansion has brought on 150,000 new people with health coverage. He's cut taxes. He says he's cut regulation. He's increased school spending, but he has a problem with the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, RFRA as we call it, that he signed into law last March and then was quickly fixed after the national outrage, and legislative leaders had to come in and quell some of the damage that was perceived there. We have a rematch. John Gregg looks like he's the likely Democratic nominee. Senator Karen Tallien and Superintendent Linda Ritz have dropped out of the race. John actually outraised Governor Pence in the reporting period that ended on June 30th. And we think that both the Republican and Democratic governors associations are going to come in and put a lot of money into this race. Governor Pence has some real obstacles coming up here, because Democrats are going to be pushing for an expansion of the Civil Rights Code in Indiana to include sexual orientation. There's wide support for this in the Republican business community, and so Governor Pence has to figure out a way not to alienate his evangelical base, not to alienate his corporate supporters, and this has a potential of dividing the Republican Party even more. As far as John Gregg goes, can he keep up the money pace? Can he press Governor Pence on infrastructure issues? Obviously, the I-65 closure down in Lafayette is a major problem. There's been his long-running battle with Superintendent Ritz on education policy issues. That's likely to be a campaign issue. And Ritz and Gregg are acting like they're going to be running as a team for governor and superintendent. It'd be fascinating to see if Gregg takes a long, hard look at Senator Tallien, puts her on the ticket as a way to really energize Democrats up here in the region. And right now, I think we've got a very competitive governor's race coming up. I think it's going to be too close to call for a while. We'll have to see how Gregg and Pence execute their campaigns, but this is going to be a good and competitive governor's race.